I'm happy to announce the next major club membership fishing tournament, the Mary Bassmas Bash fishing event. The tournament starts Black Friday, November 28th, and runs through January 3rd. And we are giving away some great prizes to get you all into the holiday spirit. First off, I'm giving away $200 and a plaque to the winner of the smallmouth only division and the largemouth / mixed bag division. And we have a ton of side pot challenges that is going to be a lot of fun for everybody. This is the biggest side quest challenge we have ever done. I am giving away a plaque and $30 to the 2 biggest pickerel caught, to the 2 biggest yellow perch caught, to the 2 biggest white perch caught, to the 2 biggest crappie caught, to the 2 biggest walleye caught, to the 2 biggest rainbow trout, and the 2 biggest hybrid striper that are caught in the event. This is the most side pot challenges we've ever given away. And we have a couple of really cool Christmas Secret Santa surprises, but those are going to be saved for next week. So if you guys are interested, please check on Patreon. Go become a Patreon member. This is only available for all weekend warriors. Become a Patreon supporter now, and you can join this. This is our 2nd annual Mary Bassmas event. It's an absolute blast. Tons of prizes, tons of goodie bags I'm giving away through this event, trying to pick up everyone's spirit this Christmas. Go check it out. Link in the episode description down below. Thank you.
You're listening to Fishing the DMV with your host, Thomas Ahrens. Fishing the DMV is brought to you by Jake's Bait and Tackle, located in Winchester, Virginia.
If that doesn't get you jacked up, I don't know what will.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Fishing the DMV. I'm your host, Thomas Ahrens. Today, I have on the man, the myth, the legend, Bass and the Furious Ty. Thank you so much for coming on. Guys, we had to push this off week because I wanted to see if he was going to win on the old Smith Mountain Lake here and really just get a full show of what he's been up to this year. Sir, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, Thomas. Thank you so much, man, for having me again. I had a blast last time, and I'm looking forward to it again. And we can definitely talk about Smith Mountain Lake. I think I did have a chance, but congrats to everybody who did really well out there, man. I love Smith Mountain Lake. So,
how do you? Let's see. You have all your social media handles. You're a musician in a band. You work 1,000 jobs. You fish all the time. How do you not go insane? It's crazy.
There is a lot of times whether I don't know whether I'm coming or going. If I'm late or I was supposed to be somewhere, because you add all that, and I got four kiddos. One's in college, 2 in high school, and elementary school. I think he's in kindergarten. I think my kids are homeschooled, other than the college one. So we kind of that does add a little bit of flexibility to a certain extent because of the nature of homeschool. You can have homeschool at 7 p.m. or you can have homeschool at 6 a.m. Just that does add a little bit of flexibility. And I have a amazing wife who is very smart and really works with the kids a lot. So she helps does a lot with that stuff. So it does help. But yeah, I do have my hands in a lot of things. And to find the time to go fishing, I'm still surprised that I find as much time as I do to go fishing and play music and gig and things like that. But it does the music I've been doing for 25 years now, and it has provided very well for my family. So I'm very thankful for the opportunity and very thankful that my dad encouraged me to keep playing music because I wanted to go outside and play basketball. And he was like, you need to learn this music thing, son, because this will help you for the rest of your life to be able to make some money and do different things. So I'm glad that I did stick with it. So I'm very thankful to my parents for encouraging me to keep doing that. And I'm trying to show my kids a little bit of music too. Show them a little bit. I got my little man playing the little piano here. So, but I am in a lot, and I don't know. I mean, there's 24 hours in a day. I probably spend 22 of them doing something. So I don't sleep a lot. That's for sure. I don't do a lot of sleeping. I'm usually up. I'm thinking about the next tournament, watching videos, learning where I'm supposed to be going. Matter of fact, let me tell you this. I actually been watching videos right now for a place that might be on our schedule next year. I've already started watching and trying to learn because I've never been there before. So we're in October. That tournament might not be till June of next year. I'm already researching because I got to know where I'm going. I want to be prepared. I want to know where to put in that and see how we can see if I can make some noise there. It looks like it's a good fishery. I'm trying to figure out where it's at on the map. So I got to start my research early so I can get caught up. But
whatever you take, bottle it and sell it, because that would be the best energy drink on the planet, dude. I mean, it's just, guys, he is wall to wall. And I will put a link to our last episode that dove into this more. But musician wise, what instrument do you play? Are you vocalist? Are you piano? Like, what do you play?
I am singing a little bit more, but I think I can show you right here. I play piano, so I play piano,
Oh,
which would
cool.
include synthesizer, um, any sound I can get off the keyboard. Primarily, I play like a keyboard, or an organ. I play with bands and I play in church. So primarily, I play every single week in church, and that's part of the reason why I'm not big on the Sunday tournaments, because Sunday's where I play for multiple churches. So I can't. I don't. I'm not. I don't want to leave both my churches on Sunday, because I am one of the musicians there. So I don't want to leave them without a musician on the Sunday morning service. That's very important to me that I'm there. But yeah, I play keyboard. So synth, electric piano, any kind of weird sound I can find, regular piano, strings, and then organ, things like that. So yeah, that's what I play. And then I do sing. I have been singing a lot more this year, background and as well as leading occasionally if the opportunity comes up. But I work with a lot of other phenomenal singers now. Actually, I talked to one yesterday. I'm hoping to get him back. He's a Billboard top recording artist. He did a lot. Me and him did a lot of music before. I'm trying to convince him to come on back and sing some more songs so we can go. But yeah, it just depends wherever they need me. I feel like the music world, because I also can play bass a little bit. I play drums a little bit. The only thing I don't play at all is guitar. I feel like the more I learn and the more instruments I can play, the more valuable you are as it relates to in the music industry. A lot of musicians now can hop on different instruments and play. Like we had a keyboard player show up on Monday night. I had to play somewhere. The keyboard player showed up. I was playing keys, but we didn't have a drummer, so he hopped on the drums. Cool. That way, I just feel like that's a skill you kind of want to have at this day and age, because a lot of musicians can play multiple instruments, especially in the gospel world where I play a lot at. A lot of us can play a lot of different things. So I could have played the drums, but we needed a keyboard player, so I stayed with the keyboard. We had a bass, we had a horn player, and then the drum player came. But I just feel like that's a key skill to have, and that's kind of how I grew up. You got to be able to hop on as needed on an instrument and be able to keep time and keep the show, keep things going. So
I mean, being an artist and how meticulous you have to be, it just is so perfect with tournament fishing, honestly, and live scope and so many different things. There's a lot of parallels there.
I agree 100%. There's a lot of just little details, and you're talking about different intervals, harmonics, things like that go with it, and a lot of coincidentally, a lot of what I use for my music stuff, I don't use a traditional like keyboard. I actually run my sounds off of a laptop or an iPad. So I'm constantly using some form of electronic in my music list. So I set up like an iPad on the top shelf. I set up my keyboard, my controller on the bottom shelf, and then that's how I run my sound. So I have my set list up here. I have my sounds up here on my iPad or my laptop, and then I'm controlling everything with my actual instrument, whether through this button or this tab or things like that that I do. So there's definitely quite a bit of parallels and just attention to detail. For example, you got to have 10-pound test, 8-pound test line. We got to have you got to have this song is in this key, this song is in this tempo, this song is this. It's a lot of just attention to detail that just I feel like translated right over to what it is that I'm doing when it comes to fishing. A lot of map study would be me learning my different aspects and different songs. I got to learn somebody wants to do the Kings of Leon version. Somebody wants to do the Shaka Khan version. I got to know which one that we're doing. So I agree. So it is quite a bit of parallels in my opinion.
Alrighty, I gotta tell you about something that's been a game changer for me. Super Blue Stuff Pain Relief Cream. Look, I've had a rough life. 3 reconstructive shoulder surgeries, I had a horse flip on me and break my back, and I'm out on the water a lot. I get aches and pains. My shoulder starts to flare up after casting all day. My back gets tight from sitting in a kayak too long. My knees get achy from standing in the front of the boat. And my neck will start to hurt from looking down at the live scope all day. And now with the temperature dropping for the winter, it can get rough out there, let me tell you. I started using Super Blue Stuff way back in high school when I started getting injured playing baseball. And honestly, I don't go anywhere without it anymore. It's in my truck. I have a bottle of the roll-on in my boat. I also have one in a backpack that I always have with me when I'm going hiking or doing anything outside. The roll-on is super easy to use. Just roll it on whenever you're hurting and you're good to go. No mess, no greasy hands, and it works fast. What I love about Super Blue Stuff is that it's all natural. We're talking emu oil,
herbs, botanical extracts, no harsh chemicals or junk you can't pronounce, and it actually works. And it doesn't have that insane burning sensation or super cold sensation. You just roll it on and forget about it. Right now, my friends at Emu Therapy are offering Fishing the DMV viewers and listeners 15% off any roll-on when you use the code BLUEFISH at checkout. That's Bluefish, BLUEFISH. Head over to bluestuff.com/fishingthedmv, link in the episode description down below, or call 866-571-BLUE. That's 866-571-BLUE. Trust me, your body will thank you. And with the ups and downs of fishing, if you guys don't know, this is, you are, I want to say like a professional co-angler, a legendary co-angler, and then you started to wade into the waters of kayaking. Last year, 2024 was your first foray into it, correct? And then this was your first full year?
Yes, last year, late, maybe September, October, I think around August, October, I started into the kayak world, but I had been doing co-angling since 2014. 2015, I think was my first co-angler tournament. I caught my first bass, I think in 2014. 2015, I jumped into BFLs. Of course, they go together. As soon as you catch a fish, you got to enter the biggest tournament that you could possibly find on the internet. That's just how that works. There's no way you can't even start at the club level. You just got to go right to the top. That's what I did, literally. Where's there a tournament? Sign up. James River BFL. I think that was the first one. I was like, yep, James River BFL, got to go for it. Never been to James River. Somebody's having a tournament. Pay my entry fee. Let's go. But yeah, that's I did kind of, transition out of, I did finish the year doing the BFLs and Toyotas last year. I did Toyota last year. One of my goals was to get a check in the Toyota Series, and I did squeak out the 41st last check they had. I did squeak that out. So that kind of accomplished that goal for me. I felt really good about that. I think I could have moved closer up if I knew how to hook a frog fish. I had never hooked a frog fish in a tournament before until I got to that Toyota Series. And clearly I was learning on the fly. And clearly I didn't learn the best because I lost a couple that could have got me in the top 10. I should have been fishing on day 3. I guarantee I should have been fishing on day 3 because I had to fish on at least twice to make sure I was going to fish that day. I couldn't get them in, but I did learn a lot that day. And I did spend the winter and spring of this year going out fishing with nothing but a frog rod to get the hang of this, because I'm the same way. Like when I got in trouble with my boat, and I think it was 2016, 2017, I got in trouble on the Potomac on my boat, got kind of trapped in the corner, taking on water. My boat was filling up with water. It was just a really bad experience for me on the Potomac that I had. My mind says I can't go out and have that bad of an experience and let that be the way I think about something. So I literally took my boat as soon as I got all the water out and dried out and had somebody clean and make sure all my stuff was working. I immediately went out the very next day to the same spot and put my boat right back in the same spot and just tried to make a smarter decision, so that in my brain's not thinking this is a bad place, I don't want to go here. This is a place I just need to learn, be a little bit better prepared, make a better decision, and go that way. So I did the same thing with the tournaments. Any bait, tackle, anything like that, if it doesn't do the way I need it to, if it doesn't go the way I'm hoping it's going to go, I try my best to work on that particular technique even more. So I did that with that year. But yeah, this was first full year in the kayak fishing, first full tournament season of trying to compete, do all the events in the trail, that type of thing. This was my first full year of doing that, and I will say it's one of the best decisions, maybe top 3 decisions that I've ever made in my 10-year fishing journey. Is one of the best decisions I've made. I'm very thankful that I did make that transition.
Why was it a good decision?
For me, I feel like we're right back there in the fishing world, but the fishing, just the thought of going to fish a tournament, it wasn't. I almost started just losing my zeal for even picking up a rod and reel and fishing, just because of all the negative that you were seeing everywhere about bass fishing last year, with the scandal here, scandal there, this going on, that going on, people just talking every time you couldn't even put a picture up of a fish without somebody getting arguing underneath of it about sonar this and sonar that, and I can't believe it this, and and like you share a photo of a fish and the comment is, did you catch it with your catch that with your sonar, with your video game? Like, come on, man, it's a fish. I caught a fish. Let's just be happy I caught a fish. No, but you couldn't do that. People were just so much in. So for me, I was and I was like, man, I got to do something else because I did not get into bass fishing. I got into bass fishing at the beginning with watching Rick Clunn, just seeing that he's like 60 some odd years and this dude's still out here fishing. And I'm like, I know some 60 some year old people, you can't play basketball no more. Your knees don't work. You ain't gonna be hooping and crossing nobody up. Like, I need a sport I can play this competitive that I can still do as I get older. You know, I'm 44, right? I said that at the ramp the other day. I told you I was 44. They're like, you're 44? Really? Like, yeah, I'm 44, man. Trust me, I get up and things are just hurting just because I'm at that age, right? I'm just stand up and I'm like, oh, my back is, I got to go to the doctor. I'm just, oh, what's going on? I'm like,
dude, you must be a vampire because you don't look like a day over 29. Dear God, man.
oh my God. Well, thank you. You're very, you're very kind. But no, I am 44 with a 19, a 15, a 14, and a 5-year-old. I got grays and my chiropractor, Dr. Hepe, thank you so much. She's been keeping me on the water. She helps me function after I wear myself completely out. So shouts out to her. But yeah, no, I'm just like, I got to find something I can do as I get a little bit older. And then I started doing the kayak thing, and I thought that was going to mess with my back because I do have neck and back issues. I've had them for a while, where sometimes it's hard to turn right or turn left. I have wrist issues because I worked selling insurance for 18 years, and I was always typing, nonstop typing, phone, different things like that. I had something crazy happen at work. I think I fell. That kind of messed up my neck. Car thing happened. That messed up my neck. I had physical therapy for my neck, for my back, for my knee. Like, I'm like, man, I'm not going to be able to compete in certain things. And I think it's fun. I think it's funny. It's funny to me that when people see you, of course, they clearly won't understand the struggle or the things that got you to where you're at. So sometimes when people see me fish a tournament, they're like, man, that dude, he's out there just, doing. I'm like, yes, I'm out here. But what you don't understand is that my wrist was not moving on Thursday before the tournament. Like, and my neck, I had issues. Like sometimes if I stand up too fast, I'll have issues there. And I'm like, dude, I barely got in this kayak sometimes before I fish these tournaments. Like, and then sometimes I'm casting, but I'm holding like my neck really still because it's in pain. If you look inside my compartment, I got medicine in there to help me so I can move around and be a little bit more free. So sometimes I'm fighting through a lot just to get there. But with the kayak, I noticed, and my chiropractor, she said this to me as well, the rowing helped strengthen my back muscles, and that helps me with my neck and my back as long as I'm active in rowing. So she was like, rowing is one of the things that she encouraged for me to do to help strengthen my muscles. Now, obviously with anything, don't overdo it, but doing that, those type of things help. So for me, just getting, I said all that to say, getting in the kayak, getting around the people in the kayak, I didn't notice as much of the, back and forth. You're a live scoper, man. I can't talk to you. It's like different types of people. Like, I didn't notice that type of thing. It wasn't that big a deal. They just enjoyed fishing. They just like to go out fishing. They're just chatting. And I noticed that when I got there, the camaraderie of people at the meetings and the celebrations and everybody getting together and planning a big event for after the tournament. And then in between, that we got pages where we're sharing things and supporting each other. Hey, I need some help with this. Oh, sure, I can come help. I needed a prop for a tournament. I broke mine. I posted in the group, and the dudes were like, hey, I got a prop. Meet me here. I got you. And I'm like, where's this at? These are just nice people just enjoying getting out there and fishing, even talking to you, talking to Molnar, John, man, like
John.
just helpful. Want to see you. Now, don't get me wrong. They will kick your butt when they get on the water. Don't get it twisted. The niceness is great, but if they get out there and they catch them, they're gonna catch them, right? Everybody going for it. But it's just so much. It's fun, and I'm glad I did make that change. Kind of brought back my excitement about fishing. I can't wait till the tournaments come. And the biggest thing after all that, the biggest thing is just my day is on me now, and that's the co-angler thing to back to the front, because I was a boater for 7 years until I sold my boat. So I did boating and kayak. Every tournament I could fish as a boater, I fish as a boater. I did every tournament I could do as a co-angler. So people, they say, oh man, you're just a co-angler. No, dude, I was a boater. I fished Potomac teams. I fished all these any trail I could get in. I fished it like as a boater. So I'm used to making my decision. I rise and fall with my decision. In the kayak, I'm back to making my own decision. I can fish at my own pace. I can stay close by. I don't got to put myself in no compromising situations. I plan for my day. I'm prepared. And then it just comes down to my decision making. So if I make a bad decision, I lose, I go home, I stand on my bad decision, try to be better next time. So that's probably the biggest reason. I just like having my day be my day that I did. And I can come home and I can tell everybody this is what happened. I didn't make the right decision. I can't set the hook on a wacky rig fish. It's just me. It's what I did. So that's probably what I would say my biggest thing is.
So in 2024, you started to dabble into kayak fishing. Guys, we're just going to go through this just blow by blow. You go into 2025, you have the NVKBA opener, you win it. And then that's right after that, you're back at it with the Lake Anna event. What were your thoughts with that event and how it played out?
The Lake Anna one?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lake Anna, in the one that I won, the first one, I had got the drawing. I bought it here because I got to show it every time I can. I was throwing the spinnerbait where I was at, right? This is anytime I win a tournament, this has been involved. I don't know why, when, how, but anytime my BFL that I won, that first tournament that I won, the Lake Anna tournament that I did well in, I had the spinnerbait tied on. So I had it tied on. I never cut it off from the first tournament. I just kept it there. I know it works on Lake Anna. So going into that, of course, I'm a little nervous. I had fished Lake Anna in the classic that we had last year. I got bumped out of the check spot by one, and I was like, "Nah, I can't. That's not. I wanted that one badly. Lake Anna. I like Lake Anna. Let me take that back. Hold on. Let me take that back. I do not like Lake Anna at all. Okay, I'm gonna be real with you. I did not like Lake Anna for the first 9 years of fishing Lake Anna. I absolutely despise that place.
It's a love hate.
I would tell people, I'm like, don't go to Lake in the boater. My sister sent me a photo. My sister, she's a huge supporter. She's a real estate agent. I love my sister. She's awesome. She's her husband, her kids, they all fish. Everyone fishes. But me and her husband fished a tournament on Lake Anna. She sent me a photo of that last week, and she was like, "You remember this?" And it was me and him in a boat on Lake Anna. We zeroed. Okay, we both can fish. But on that day, I was not around him. I couldn't figure him out. I threw all the stuff I thought I was, big shot getting out here doing my thing. And no, we zeroed. We went home. I mean, I didn't even stick around for the weigh-in. I got on up out of there because I was like, this place is terrible. I can't stand Lake Anna. So to get in there in the kayak, for me, I'm not a big, I didn't think I was a big lake fisherman because I never do well on Lake Anna. I'm a river guy. I've always been a river guy. That's just me. I'm a shallow water. Give me 3 feet, 5 feet, 7 feet. I'm at home. So to get on Lake Anna and to figure something out early, because the crazy part about Lake Anna is I practiced in one creek I didn't find enough in that creek. So on tournament morning, I said, forget it. I went somewhere else that I had never launched from. But like maybe one time in the past with my buddy, and we didn't fish in the marina. We launched there, we met there, but he took off. We ran clean across the other side of the lake. So I went somewhere that I had never been before. And I was like, here we go. We're going to see what we can do out here in this place. I was like, let's give it a try. Could be good. Got out there, struggled for the first hour, 2 hours. I think I saw you out there. I'm just struggling.
It was brutal.
It was brutal. I'm sitting there, and the spot I picked, when I first pulled up, I'm like, I'm seeing all kinds of activity on the surface. I need to cut my graphs and stuff on. I'm just seeing all kinds of activity on the surface. I'm like, oh man, this looks good. I said, maybe I made a good decision. I'm like, okay, this could be good. This could be good. Let me, and I started casting out my baits that work for me in the place I practiced, because they did work for me last year. I found a little deal last year in practice that kind of made me start to Lake Anna last year. And then I was like, let me just try it again this year and see. Man, it was terrible. Absolutely terrible. I couldn't get nothing to bite. I pulled out all my baits about by 8 o'clock. I had gone through all 8 rods on my kayak. I ain't caught nothing. I won't even. And then I started going down the bank with a spinnerbait. I said, let me just go down. And I had just gotten live scope. I had just gotten live scope right before this tournament. And I had only used it in the season opener at that one place. That's the only time I had used it. So I really didn't know what I'm looking at, what this mark means, what that mark means. I was still trying to figure all that kind of stuff out. And sure enough, yeah, I just started going down the bank with a spinnerbait, and I'm reeling my little spinnerbait past a laydown. I love fishing laydowns on Lake Anna, right? The little spinnerbait come past, and I'm looking on my screen. I'm like, that looks like something coming after because I didn't even have, I aimed it away from the bank because I didn't even want to look at it because it was showing me stuff in the morning that wasn't biting. I was like, this is a waste of time. I got it. This is great, but this ain't how I fish. I just need to go. I just need to fish. I just need to go fish. I need to cut this off. I'm on Lake Ann. I just gotta try to figure it out. I turned it away and I started making casts. And I saw something follow at one time. I'm like, okay, cool. Then I pitched it past his log, saw something coming, and I was like, every time I saw it coming and the graph was pointing at them, as they got close to it, they would turn around. And I was like, that's not cool. So I was like, no, we got to turn this away while I'm going down the bank. Let me turn it away. And then I'm reeling, but I'm like, this log looks way too good. Let me flip it around real quick. So I flipped it around to see, and I saw a giant blob coming towards. I'm like, okay, this, they're probably just going to turn around. I was like, God, man, dang it. I turned it too quick. I was like, I should have left it facing away to give myself a chance. But no, this fish was locked in. This fish was not turning. This was the big one. That's what I'm talking about. This was the 21. This was the 21 and a half or whatever. So sure enough, he didn't care about live scope. He didn't care about nothing. He just smoked it. Next thing I know, I feel it. That literally, that fish right there is a difference in the whole tournament, right? So I felt pretty good once I had that one. Then I just struggled for the rest of the day. Struggled again, right back to normal Lake Anna that I'm used to fishing. I ended up having to make a run, pretty long run, to get to another spot that I'm familiar with. I had to try to run over there. I think I saw you again. I think I did see you again. I ran over to that spot. I had planned on going to another spot. Looked over a spot that I always catch fish in. Look over there. The guy who won the tournament was sitting in that spot. It's like, I guess, okay, I'm not going to get there. I tried to wait him out. I told him this too. I tried to wait him out. I was like, I tried to wait you out. And it didn't look like you were going to leave. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So then I had to go to another area, and come to find out the area I went to was the area that he had planned on going to, but I was there. So we both got in each other's way that day. That's fine. He won, I took second. It's all good. It's all fine. But then I found a little area. I fished this area 1,000 times, but I didn't quite know how many fish were there. I started seeing a little bit on the graph, and then I started making very precise casts and picked them up on the jerk bait. And that was my limit. That was the day. But those basically 2 spots. That's it. That was my day for Lake Anna. And it panned out well for me. Worked out good that time. So I'm very, very, very thankful that turned out the way it did, because I have a huge history of just complete futility at Lake Anna. Just terrible. I mean, I can't catch nothing to save I'm throwing dry. I done switched to 6-pound line. This is not my spot. It was not my spot. But now you can't keep me off Lake Anna now. You cannot keep me off anything that's on there. I'm going, I'm on Lake Anna. I'm on there.
Lake Anna will definitely come back in our story. And then, guys, for you guys to know, 10th place had 58.25 inches. So if you caught a limit in this tournament, you were basically guaranteed top 10. It was that tough out there. It was a real grinder. But second place. So you win a tournament, second place, your first full year, going into the Potomac. I mean, I'm assuming you're just on cloud 9. Like, oh my God, I got AOI in the bag. This is going to be my year.
It was looking. It was shaping up to be good. It was shaping up to be pretty good. I was like, I made it through the tough lake one, right? I'm like, that's the one. Of course, I'm worried about. And I'm like, now we're on the river. Oh, I'm at home now. We're in my wheelhouse. I'm like, I fished this place every week for 5-6 years straight. A Wednesday night or a Saturday, Tuesday. I was like, all I got to do is find somewhere where I can get 5, and I'll just pick a spot to get 5. Now, what got me, in my opinion, on the Potomac, just end up on the Potomac, get there, I end up catching 1 fish. And that 1 fish came, I think I just looked back at the stats the other day. I think that 1 fish came at 1:30 in the afternoon. I caught nothing. I think I maybe caught some shorts. Actually, maybe I don't think I did catch any shorts. I don't know if I caught anything before that 1 fish at the end. And at that time, when I caught that 1 fish on the Potomac, I was like, in my brain, it's 1 o'clock. I got 0 fish. I'm like, I went from possible doing really well, maybe even contention for AOI if I can be consistent, to now my season's done. I was like, if I don't catch something, I'm telling you, you can't 0 and still try to come back and win. And not against this group of guys, not with these dudes cooking the way they are out there. No, absolutely not. So I was like, I was like, and I was having a bad day with my equipment too. My rods, my reels, my reels were backlashing. I had like 3 of them that were like out of commission because I couldn't get the cast. I think I was getting frustrated, so I probably was whipping a little too much. The wind was going. I got hung up in the grass. I think it was bad because the time before I fished the Potomac, I didn't have a pedal kayak before. When I fished it last year for the first time, I had like Lifetime kayak that just floated and drifted everywhere. I had no electronics on there. I think I might have had a Garmin something, but I don't even know if I cut that on because I was like, I'm just gonna fish grass. So I just went out there and just went fishing last year. This year with the pedals and trying to maneuver and grass everywhere. I got hung up I lost an hour trying to get out of the grass. I couldn't get out the edge of the grass. I was like, it was on I would pedal, pick up, pedal, pick up, pedal, pick up. Then I'm like, let me paddle. But me paddling versus the wind, I was struggling to paddle, the tide going the opposite. So I was just, it was probably like 11 o'clock. And I was like, man, I think I got put on a trailer. Like I'm struggling. Like this is bad. And now I say that to myself. I think I'm starting to think that's my motivational speech to myself in the middle of the day, is just to tell myself I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Cause after that's usually when I start to figure something out. Cause I did it on Smith Mountain Lake this past weekend. I was like, I ain't caught nothing. I ain't figured it out. I'm done. I was like, and I told myself, I was like, look, if you were just going to quit, you should have quit before you put in the water. Instead of just sitting out here taking wind to the face, you should have just quit before you started. You just go home. Just give. So I think I try to motivate myself. But yeah, it was bad, man. Potomac was bad for me. I can't say I'm surprised. I've seen plenty of people in their home water do terrible before, so I can't say I was surprised. But I did figure out something at 1:30, and then I couldn't get the reel that I had the bait on that caught me the one fish, and I lost another one, and I lost another one. It started it got something in it. So every time I went to skip it underneath the dock, it would get tangled up. And I was fishing so frantically fast that I didn't want to like actually take a look and see what was wrong. I just was like, just kept trying to make the cast. And then it would just get hung up. And then I needed it to come off smooth, but it wouldn't come off smooth. It would and it would land awkwardly, which would put me in an awkward spot to try to reel. I should have probably had 4 fish. I think I hooked 4 in like 15 minutes. I should have been able to pull out something pretty miraculous in my opinion, because I was struggling so bad all day. But I couldn't get my stuff working. At the end of the day, that's on me, right? I should have take a second, retied, maybe tied that bait on a different pole, and then just tried to redo it that way. But I had actually positioned my kayak in between like 2 pillars, and if I let off of trying to hold myself on a pillar, I would get it will pull me back out to where I couldn't make the cast no more. So I didn't really feel like I had time to angle myself and get it right. So it is what it is. But yeah, Potomac, man, that destroyed me. And it messed with my whole momentum of where I was going, because I was so excited for that tournament. So
how did you recover mentally? Because the next 2 tournaments are kind of, I think, critical in this whole story of your season. The first one is the Battle of Five Lakes #1. You have Mooney, Hunting Run, Mott's, Abel, Nye. You have scope now. You have pedal power. How did you choose the lake that you wanted to fish there?
So that's interesting. Because I did ultimately end up choosing Mooney, but I practiced on Hunting, and I planned on practicing on Nye, but I went to Nye not knowing the days that they were closed. So I drove all the way to Nye to go practice, and the gate was locked. And I was like, I thought they were open. So I'm calling the county parks and rec, hey, what's going on? I thought we were, and they were like, no, we're that's not open, but you can go to Hunting Run. So I was like, okay, well, let me try Hunting Run. So I go to Hunting Run on one day of practice, and I catch a pretty solid bag. I was like, this is pretty good. I think I can make some noise with this bag. And then the second day I went to practice. The second day I went to try to go to Nye, but Nye was closed. So the second day of practice, I went back to Hunting Run. Again, I was like, let me just ride around. Let me see if I can figure something out. And I went back to Hunting Run again, and it was a disaster. I'm talking about a nightmare. I couldn't get a 2-pounder on the line. And I ran into, I think it was John, and he was practicing out there. And I'm like, I can't find a fish. I was seeing him, couldn't get nothing going. And then the last 15 minutes of that day, I picked up on something about the fish being a little bit off the bank, but they were chasing bait everywhere. The big giant bass would just sit underneath these schools of bait. And I started like pitching in there on Hunting Run. And I was like, and they followed my bait. And I was like, oh, okay, this could be something. I don't know if it's everywhere, but I'm like, this could be something. And like my last 15-30 minutes of practice, I got off the water, called it a day. And then on Saturday morning for the tournament, I had planned on going to Nye. I was just gonna say, forget it. I'm just gonna go to Nye because that's where I know hunting run ain't gonna work for me. I was seeing those big fish, but they wouldn't take my bait, so I can't count on hunting run, hoping and wishing. I was like, if I'm a hope and wish, let's go to Nye. I know Nye's got big fish. Nye's got lily pads. Lie's got some. Let me just get out there and throw chatterbait, something, see if I can maybe make something swing. So I'm driving in my car to go to Nye, and I'm not 100% familiar with Nye's, like not part of my normal driving pattern. So I kept going straight on the road. I didn't turn to make the Nye turn, and I kept going straight. And I was like, dang it, I missed that turn. So I was like, I guess I'm going to Mooney. And I just drove to Mooney. And that's pretty much how I ended up at Mooney. Now, I will say, with that being said, I did work at Geico selling insurance for 17 years, and Mooney came around while I was working at Geico. So I have been to Mooney for years and years and years. I fished Mooney before work. I fished Mooney on my lunch break. My lunch break was an hour. I would take like an hour and a half. My boss, she just knew I was fishing. She would tell me if I was having a bad day of selling. She'd be like, Ty, maybe you need to go fishing. Cool. I'm gonna catch you later. And I go fishing. So I would go fishing at Mooney on my lunch break. I came back multiple times with my pants muddy because I was lost the bait and I want to get my bait back, and I'm wearing khakis and dress pants. I didn't care. I'm fishing. I would go to Mooney when I got off of work. I took my boat out on Mooney. I mean, I fished Mooney a ton. So I know there's giants in Mooney. I've seen them. I've caught them. You know, all that. So going to Mooney to me wasn't like a huge stretch, because at the end of the day, I have, let's say Potomac, I have my most experience on. Right after that is probably Mooney, and right after that is Smith Mountain Lake.
So why dabble at all with hunting run and Nye? I mean, it sounds like you got some pretty good confidence in Mooney. Why even try those other places in practice out of curiosity?
I didn't think in a kayak that I wanted to be in deep water. So I don't like going. I don't like knowing there's 100 feet of water beneath me. That's why I thought I would love fishing the Potomac in a kayak, because I'm like 7 feet, 8 feet. That has to do with what I need to work on. I think we might have talked about this before, but me and my swimming, I just don't like being in 100 feet of water and anywhere. So I was like, if I can not go to Mooney and be in 125 feet of water, I'll be, because I fish Mooney a lot from the bank. I did take my boat out there. Don't get me wrong, but that's the boat. That's not me in a kayak right beside the water, setting the hook on a jig and going sideways. Like I didn't want to do that. So I was like, maybe hunting. I know Hunting Run has pockets that I can go to on the side. So I usually go find straight to a pocket on Hunting Run. I go straight to like the middle or the back, and I try my best fishing those submerged stumps or things like that. So going to Mooney was going to be because if you know, no, you went to Nye. So if you go to Mooney, when we took off from Mooney, it was funny because everybody lined up to take off at Mooney. They got the motors, all that. Everybody lines up. Everybody pulls out in the middle. I got my pedals. They all were like, all right, 7 o'clock. All right, fellas, the guy made the loud announcement, let's take off. Everybody took off. You know what I did? I stayed at the boat ramp. I turned my kayak to the right and I started casting. I won't go nowhere. I literally pedaled maybe 50 feet away from the boat ramp and I started fishing. That's it. I was like, because that's where I fished that from the bank. And I know I've caught fish up there. I've caught 4, 5, 6, 7 pounders right from that bank. So I was like, I'm gonna cast right here. And that's what I did. I literally went right there. I don't know if I think I did start catching them right as I went around that bank, right around that corner. I caught one skipping my fluke up underneath of the overhanging trees. And then I caught another one around the corner. And then I went to another spot that I was familiar with. I learned it as I got there. I pedaled to it, but I still could see the boat ramp from where I was at. I never left sight of the boat ramp. Same thing. It's the same thing I did at Lake Anna, at Hunting Run. I mean at Lake Anna, at Smith Mountain, at Lake Anna again. I could see the boat ramp from every tournament. If I leave past the boat ramp, I'm in trouble. If I can see the boat ramp, I got a chance.
Well, so for that tournament, you ended with 89.75 inches. And I think you mentioned this but I think it was before we started recording, the scope, and you were kind of, I don't know, what was your mindset with using scope in that tournament? It was like, were you burnt on it because of the Potomac? Like, I just don't want to use it. Like, what was your vibe of incorporating scope in this event?
In this one, when I first started, I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't fishing dead water. So that's pretty much the only reason why I used it to start. I wasn't like, did I go sideways?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh boy. Let me type.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, there we go. All right. So no, I wasn't necessarily burnt on it because even though I struggled with it on the Potomac the fish were just scared of it. I was seeing what I needed to catch to be successful, but every time I panned around to them, you could watch them just running away, running away, running away. So a lot of times my bites on the Potomac, even in practice and there, I had to cast beyond the length of the scope to get the bites. They might follow it in, but they more than likely they weren't. And then on tournament day with all the pressure and everybody there, they just were like, nope. If they could feel or sense that something was there, they just ran away. So I was like on the lake, deep, clear water. I'm going to test it out. So I started with like, my fluke up shallow, 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 buzz bait things, trying to throw them shallow. But I just wanted to make sure I could see what was going on. But the first 3 or 4 fish I caught were without it. Then I started using it as a day, kind of like midday as it gets really difficult. I was like, let me try to I need to at least see where I'm going, and it directly resulted in me getting some catches. The better fish that I caught later in the day, early was just throwing a fluke in very strategic spots, but later in the day it definitely played a role. So I wasn't, because I know it can put me in the right direction. I just gotta figure out if the species is what I'm looking for, one, and then two, how they're reacting to what I'm doing. So what I do a lot of when I'm fishing is change colors. A lot of changing colors. And it wasn't change color, cast out, see how they react, see if I can get them to move or turn or something with it. So I wasn't it didn't mess me up too bad. It was okay. Because I know Mooney's deep and clear. And when I get on deep and clear, I gotta use what I can to try to help me. But I mean, fishing Mooney the way I have, I've never fished it with live scope before, so I've caught plenty of fish without it. So that's why I didn't mind just throwing something around where I know those fish like to set up at. But no, it definitely came in handy at Mooney. But the biggest fish that I lost was just going down the bank, skipping a Senko, man, just throwing my Senko. Like I know I can
Really?
throw my Senko
Wow.
anywhere. Yeah, just find the overhanging brush and put my Senko underneath of it, and I know I'm gonna get something in there. But I lost a giant. I'm talking about a mondo, and I just didn't even expect it to be. I mean, you hope it's going to be in that cast, but that obvious cast that everybody go down the bank and you make that cast a million times and it's never
Mm.
a fish there. It was one of those. It was an obvious cast, overhanging brush, wind blown bank, perfect. Just skip in there, and you're like, yeah, this should be a giant. But I had made that skip a bunch of times and it won't nothing. So when I made this one, I was like, yeah, this ain't gonna. Oh boy, here we go. And it just caught me slipping, and I didn't get the good hook set. That's actually something I can touch on a little bit later. I did change something that I've been doing for the last 6 or 7 years. Last week I just changed it, and I just fished that big Virginia Bass Nation state championship tournament with a complete change to my whole fishing strategy. And I was like, let me it's something so silly. You'll get a kick out of it. But I did change it right before this tournament. I was like, all right, we're gonna go for this, man. We're gonna see how this plays out. So I can elaborate for you, but I felt like that move was costing me throughout the year, because I was afraid to set the hook the way I needed to set the hook on the fish because of something that I was doing. So I had to tweak it, and now I can go into 2026 a little bit more confident in swinging that rod when a fish bites. So
Again, you're back in the top 5. You
That-
have smallmouth, then you have the Rappahannock, and then we have Battle of Five Lakes. What is your relationship with smallmouth?
Man, me and smallmouth, I thought we were friends. I thought we got along. I thought we saw eye to eye. I thought we was, we're down like 4 flats. I thought we was good. Like I've caught him before. Me and my buddy, and I credit him a lot for teaching me when it comes to fishing. My buddy Brett Page, B Page, um, he would actually invite me out just to go out and fish for smallmouth on the Rappahannock. So we would just go out and we would just look for target smallmouth. So I felt pretty good about it. I love using smaller line things. See, I'm thinking like St. Lawrence, not St. Lawrence, those smallmouth that you got to downsize everything for. That's what I'm thinking, not river smallmouth. It's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
So little things like that. Yeah, I thought I was good, but no. Shenandoah, I believe this tournament you're talking about next, I didn't have time to practice. I did fish the VA Bass Nation Shenandoah tournament beforehand to try to give me at least some semblance of what was going on, but they allowed smallmouth and largemouth. So that's how I got 3 or 4 fish in that. I got 4 in that tournament, I believe. They did both. And I think 2 of mine were large, 2 were smallmouth. I wasn't really smashing the smallmouth. But when it came time for our tournament, I was tearing up the largemouth. I had a limit and code of largemouth during that tournament, but didn't count. No one cared. Doesn't matter. Me and smallmouth, we just, man, I struggled so bad. And it's not necessarily being able to fish for them. I'm pretty sure I'm confident I can catch them, because even watching the gentleman that won, I think maybe was that Big D TV. I don't know. He might have won one of them.
He won the bass. Oh, he won the VA bass, and James Coleman won the NVKBA.
Yeah. Okay. Watching like what they're doing out there, man, they're fishing fun. They're having a good time fishing. They're talking about chatterbaits and spread, all the fun stuff you like fishing. I don't think it's a matter of me catching them. It's me being around them. I think that's the biggest thing. It's just where I'm at in the water, because I don't do floats. Sorry, everybody who does the floats. I've never done a float. And when you mention the word float and water, you lost me. Okay, just saying the word floating on the water, you lost me. I don't. There's nothing should be floating on the water. Okay, there's nobody should be floating. This just not understanding the concept. I don't mean to sound silly, but I've never floated. I've never put in somewhere in hopes to get somewhere else and drift down. I don't want to be drifting. I need my kayak to be still, and I need to be able to make the cast. I don't want to be going down with the current. I don't want to be doing all that. I just want to be still where I can cast around. I can see what's in front of me, but I don't want no rocks to pop up on me and end up making me go sideways. I'm just a little leery about the whole river side of it, especially knowing, it knocked a couple people sideways, and it's just, what I'm saying, I don't want to run into no rocks. I'm not worried about my kayak. The old town I'm in, thankfully, the old town, I'm good. I just don't want to, so that's just me. I think I can catch them. I just gotta, for next year, because they definitely kicked my butt this year twice, 2 times, 3 times. I just gotta find a location that I can put in and be successful at. And possibly because you know what really scared me? I watched one of your podcasts talking to the guys about the smallmouth fishing in the Shenandoah, and they were talking about the anchor, right? You put the anchor in, but the anchor will pull and the current pulls, and then you got to cut the anchor, and then you're going. I heard the guy was talking about that stuff, and I'm like, so do I use this anchor or do I not use this anchor? If I put it in and I go sideways, I can't help myself getting sideways. And if I don't put it in, I can't stay still. So it's just little stuff like that. And I'll say what it is. It's just ignorance on my part, just an understanding of what's going on there. And I just got to learn more. So hopefully in the off season, I can put a little time in out there. Cause I didn't practice for any one of those tournaments. None of the smallmouth tournaments, I didn't practice for either one. I just showed up and tried to figure it out that day. And while it's doable on some of the lakes, because I can figure out some stuff, but on the river chasing the things, you can clearly drop in on the river and catch a bunch of smallmouth without practicing, but you got to know the river. You got to know where to put in that for the river to figure that out. I wasn't on that type of deal. So I caught fish. I just didn't do well enough to place high enough in those tournaments, in my opinion.
River fishing is definitely sneaky. It really is about how you can catch a bunch of fish, but to get to that next level of just not just catching 12 inchers, it's sneaky stuff that you have to make small adjustments on.
Right. Absolutely. Because I love current breaks and understanding where the water, all that thing. I pay attention to so much of those things. I know where to put the bait at. Even on we'll get there, I guess, the Upper Potomac. I figured out a little deal late in the day on that one, but just understanding how those fish like to move. I feel like I understand how those fish like to move, how they like to hide, how they like to set up. Just we'll get them. We will get them. Trust me, we will figure them out. I may get. I may need to just one trip out there to like spend a whole day, maybe 2 days out there, just running around, putting in at some different launches, taking out, putting in, and just kind of get a rhythm. I just need a rhythm. I got a lake rhythm. I don't have a river smallmouth rhythm. I don't have a rhythm there. My drums got holes in them. They are out of tune and everything. My drums is no good.
Well, the next one up that got a rain delay, because I think the Shenandoah and the Rap both we had to move the day because of weather. You had the Rap, and at the end of the Rap, guys, just going a little bit ahead of time. At the end of the Rap, you were in 6th place in Angler of the Year. So even with your 2 events that were not great, you're still way up into the top 10. Like you're in striking
right.
distance of the top 3 in AOY. Did you feel comfortable heading back to the wrap, or what was your feeling on it?
I 100% felt comfortable feeling the wrap. And I don't know why I didn't say this before. I fished the wrap like weekly during the fall. I fished the wrap. I mean, I'm talking a lot. I fished the wrap because it's the closest one to my house. So I fished the Rappahannock a lot. I was on some seriously good fish on the wrap. I was catching them really well. I had creeks. I had so many patterns for the wrap. Like I was so excited to fish that tournament. I'll sixes, fives. And this is way before the tournament came around. Springs. I fished the wrap. I fished the wrap a lot. The wrap is one of my favorite places to fish. It has giants in the wrap, and they are fun to fish for. You can fish the way you want to fish. Spinnerbait, chatterbait, flipping is crazy on the wrap. Grass fishing, lay down fishing. I mean, take rock fishing, take your pick. The wrap, so I was definitely confident to go to the wrap. I was very, very, very excited about getting back to the wrap. I thought buzzbait, man, take your pick. Pick your weapon on the wrap, and it's fun. So I was excited about I knew if I could get through the lake ones, the river, the Shenandoah smallmouth that I had no clue what the heck I was doing. If I could get back to the wrap, that was my deal. Like if I could get back to the wrap, I'd be good. That's what I was thinking. I could make a nice move in the wrap, and I don't think that happened when I got there. I don't think that's what happened.
You survived. You survived the wrap.
I did. You know what? I had a very interesting start to my day at the wrap. Me and a boater decided to fish the exact same area.
Oh God.
We were making the same exact cast at the same exact thing to start the day. He didn't see me, and he didn't see me at first because he came around the corner and I was already there. Then when he saw me, he decided that wasn't going to change his plan. And he decided to keep making that same cast. And that's where I had caught fish at. So he was like, "Are you fishing that drop?" Absolutely, I'm fishing that drop. We're fishing the same. So we stayed there together for about 45 minutes, fishing making that same cast. And he was trying to catch him on one side of it. I was trying to catch him on the other side of it. That kind of took me a little bit. I didn't want to paddle away though, because of all the grass. The areas I wanted to get to, there was so much grass. And late in the day, I just said, forget it. I'm going to try to fight through that grass. I'm just going to make my way over there. And I got through so much grass, and then there was more grass. I said, you know what? Forget this, man. I'm done. I'm going to just go back and sit in the middle of somewhere and hope for the best. But a lot of the stuff that I was used to fishing was just so choked up with grass. I only had a little stretch to fish in there. And what messed up was they had that spill in the portion of the wrap I was fishing the week before. They had that spill, and they were like, people shouldn't even get in the water in that section, or to make sure you wash yourself off and don't eat nothing. They had that whole big old thing right before the tournament started. So I was a little leery of that. And we changed the date. I really wanted to go on the date that we had because I had just practiced. I felt really good about what I had. But yeah, it was weird, but I did make it through it. I did catch, a couple fish, but I definitely thought I should have done better. And I hope it's on the schedule for somebody again next year, because I'll be fine. I'll be fine then. But I was really, the two tournaments I was most excited for, I didn't perform the way I had hoped to perform.
I mean, 43 inches, 15th place. You were able to manage. It was a tough event for everybody when 43 inches gets you in the top 15. But 6th in AOI, going to Battle of Five Lakes #2, Occoquan Reservoir, Sleeters, Burke Lake, so many of those places. Which lake did you want to try?
I knew. So whenever we have those, I try to go for the one that's closest to my house, because that's the one that lets me know that I can practice. That's the only reason why I picked that. So I mapped out all of them, and I realized that Occoquan would be closest to my house, so I could go practice, but I did not practice. But I did choose Occoquan, and that for me is the tournament I'm probably the most proud of, how I was able to figure those fish out and adapt on that day for Occoquan. I was very pleased at how I did on Occoquan. I know I didn't get a top 10 or anything, but I was so happy that I was able to, because that place is so pressured. I've never seen so many people in the water, in a body of water, in my life. I'm talking paddles, canoes. There was balloons floating with people in them on the water. There was people on those little hoverboard things on the water. I said, you've got to be, what is all of this stuff out here? I have no idea what's going on. So I'm very happy with how that one actually turned out for me, because I did not know, I did not expect that, but I did figure out some stuff there. So I was really happy about that one. Win, lose, or draw. I just was happy that I was able to figure that out. And I would definitely recommend that place as somewhere to go fish, because that place is fun. Those fish bite. When you see them on that screen, them fish bite. And then if you don't see them on the screen, you can just flip. I flipped a little Texas rig creature bait, and oh man, they tore that thing up. I think I caught a nice one on a drop shot early. I found some rock. I fished the rock. That did well. And then I just started flipping, and it did. Yeah, I like that place. I would definitely go back to that place. With all that being said, I could start to see that the AOI was going to be a little out of reach, thanks to a nice gentleman, a very good fisherman named Eddie. I started to see that the AOI was going to be a little bit tough to get, because he was absolutely having a season for the ages, man. That dude was absolutely so I was trying to just hang in there. And I did not know I was even in the Rookie of the Year conversation. I'm gonna just throw that out there. I didn't even know I was up for Rookie of the Year until the last term of the year. I don't know how I missed that, but I completely missed it. I didn't know I had another target I could have been shooting for. I'm just, I'm trying to be the best I can on any of them, but I just didn't know that. So once I found out, I was like, okay. But then it was kind of almost out of reach, because Andrew had a heck of a year too. But yeah, I could kind of see that it was shifting, where Eddie was about to, even though he missed one, I did the math and I was like, he missed one. He's still right behind me in points. I was like, this is all he has to do is catch a couple fish in one, and he's gonna run. He's gonna move up right in front of all of us. So, but I felt good about Aquaform. Sorry, Aquaform. Yeah.
And Eddie, I'm gonna give you a shout out here. Also, Eddie, reach out to me. I want to get you on the show too. He caught. It was a grass carp with a lateral line. I mean, it was 23.5 inches. Oh my God, dude.
Yeah, that was a monster. Absolutely. And then when he said how he caught it too, I'm like, there's no way. What a fish. What a fish. That was a very, very nice fish that he caught. Pretty good stuff, man. He likes to pick some challenging spots and do what he can, which I thought was pretty cool for him to do as well, man. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. No, that was so wild to see happen. Smallmouth event, and then Lake Anna is what's left for the championship. Was it, like we just said, you're just trying to YOLO the Upper Potomac to get to the championship, which was interesting. This is a fun one. Was it a different lake in the fall versus the spring?
It was. I did get a chance to practice, so I ran a couple things. Did I practice 2 days? Yeah, I practiced 2 days at Lake Anna. I was like, I'm tired of the trying to hope for the best when I get there type of stuff. I got to go back to what I'm used to, because I feel like you get what you put into it, right? So I feel like you put in that work, you put in that time. It may or may not pay off, but at least you tried your best, right? So that's kind of what I was feeling. And when I got there, yeah, it's the normal stuff I was doing. Normal stuff I've done in the past on Lake Anna was not working. Like, I would scan around and I'm looking for different things, and I went to my shallow spot that I went to last year in the Classic, where I was able to just sit there and throw a little buzz bait and tear them up on a little buzz bait way in the back of a pocket. I tried all that stuff and none of that stuff was working. And then I went out a little deeper, couldn't see nothing there. I go out a little deeper. I get one in practice on a jerk bait that just basically picked it up as I was letting it sit in the air, because I was trying to turn my kayak. And I'm like, I can't pattern that. That's crazy. And maybe it slow down is the only thing I could take away from that. But I'm like, I can't fish for these fish, because I'm not going to get anywhere doing that. So yeah, it was completely different than it was last year when I fished it. Completely different than what I did in the springtime, pattern wise, and where those fish were at. I was like, where are these fish at? Where are these fish at? So I kept moving around. I fished history, different things. And then I finally keyed in on a little deal. And I saw like a ton of fish. I mean, a ton of fish. And I'm like, so this is where y'all been at. Now, how do I catch y'all? And I had to try to figure that out. How do I catch them? And I caught them good in practice in one spot. And then I was like, maybe it's kind of all around the lake. Let me check that out. So the next day of practice, I tried, and I immediately started where I found them at in the other day. And they were still there. In the other place, they were still set up. Ton of fish in the same type of area. I threw the same color that I threw in the other spot, and I was catching them again. I was like, okay, bet. And I'm gonna tell you what, this has never happened before in my life of tournament fishing. I was so confident after my practice on Lake Anna. I probably shouldn't say this because it's gonna come off bad. But I bought a ramp pass for tournament morning for that place ahead of time because I knew what was happening. I was like, this is where I'm going. This is what I'm doing, and it's nothing's gonna change my mind. This ain't gonna be one of those last minute nothing. I said, this is where I'm going. This is where these big fish. I lost a well, I could have caught, but I didn't want to catch because I knew I was gonna try to come back. But it was like a 7-pounder. I know I heard somebody else say they caught like an 8 in practice. Like they were, I was like, I think 3 areas. I was like, if I go here, I can get a limit. If I leave here and I run over to this grass, the submerged grass, I can get a giant. And then if I get the giant, I could try to go back and call in them where the docks are late in the day. Once the sun gets up and the fish get under the docks, it's Lake Anna, right? They get under the docks at some point. So I was very confident in a plan for the day. Now, whether it panned out, and I really bought the pass because I didn't want to deal with the crap in the morning. I just wanted to get on the water. I didn't want to sit there and have to like go wait in line for somebody to do. I just wanted to get on the water, put the thing in my dash, and get on the water and pedal over to my spot. So I was excited about Lake Anna, that tournament. I was just very confident that the fish would still be in that spot. I just didn't know if I was going to be able to catch them. And starting that day, didn't catch nothing. I was struggling again. Same Lake Anna. It kicks your butt. And then I finally got one to play ball. And from that point on, it was let's go to work. So
The grass has definitely changed that fishery for sure. Just from people I've talked to, SB, yourself, John, so many people. It just seems like there's, I don't know, they're just more fish, easier to pattern, one of all the above. Who knows? But it's definitely made it better than when I was a kid for sure.
I agree. I agree. Like I didn't even, and I probably because I'm not a Lake Anna. It's funny because I guess everybody thinks I'm like this Lake Anna guru now, like not knowing that I'd never caught it. I've caught 3 fish at Lake Anna over the course of 8 years, right? Like I'm not a Lake Anna guru. I just figured out something last year. I figured out something last year. And then I've just kind of built on, and then I'm starting to get in tune with how they set up and what they like to do. So once I get that in my head, it's hard to get it out. But I've never caught a grass fish on Lake Anna in my life. I've never caught a grass. I didn't even know there was submerged grass on Lake Anna. I had no idea. Like when I pulled out there, I was like, I'm looking at my graph and I'm like, what is this? I'm like, this stuff is coming way up from the bottom. I'm like, let me pitch. And I pitch it out and I bring it up and I'm like, what? This is on Lake Anna. This is in practice. This I'm talking 3 weeks ago. This is me practicing. I had no idea there was grass like this on Lake Anna. And I saw it like in the back of a marina and I'm pitching around. I'm like, and my first bite came out of this big, thick grass. And I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, this grass is in the way because I'm trying to fish that like a shoreline grass. That's where I catch fish out of, the shoreline grass, like throwing a swim jig or putting my bait at the edge of it and kind of letting it drop down. That's usually how I catch them, coming out of that. I came out of the shoreline grass and I'm getting stuck in this crap that's on the bottom. I'm like, get this? And then I'm like, you know what switched for me? I told myself, I was like, you know what? You're not fishing Lake Anna no more. I said, you're fishing the Potomac now. You're grass fishing now. You got to go grass fishing. And I picked up a whole different set of baits and I'm like, we're just going to go grass fishing. Now, I said, now we're talking grass fishing. Oh, I'm at home now. Where's my grass fishing stuff? I said, let's go. Grass fishing and docks. Those are my 2 strengths, I would say. Grass fishing and docks fish. Cause I know some people don't like skipping docks and all that. One of my fish came skipping a Cinco in the tiny little part on the dock. I love doing that. In between pontoons, I'll skip all day in the kayak, stand up and let's go. I love skipping docks, getting way up under there, the farthest thing back in between the 2 little skinny ones. I love to skip up between the little 2 skinny ones. I like to fish off the edge. It don't matter. So when I'm at grass docks, I'm at home. That's where I feel like I'm going to have the most success when it comes to tournament fish. Cause it's been that way. Grass docks and, lay down, wood lay downs on the bank or something I can throw a jig or spinnerbait around. That's when I'm at home fishing. If you get me anywhere near those, I got a chance. Take me out of that, and yeah, you're gonna win. Right now, you're gonna win. That's something I got to work on as an angler. I have to continue to spend more time in the in between because I noticed, and this is the attention to detail. I heard your interview with I think it was Chad Green. Is it the guy down on Smith Mountain Lake? Watch your interview with him, and a couple guys like that. They the little details make the difference. I talk to the guys about this all the time. My color changes, things like that. But what I notice about myself, as I do make a catch log like everybody else, like the guides do, I make a catch log so I know when I'm catching fish, the time of day I'm catching fish, things like that. And I went back through the tournaments and I looked at when I catch fish. and I need to find a better way, because usually I'll be in the lead, and then next thing I know, I'm in 17th. And the difference is that window, that 10 o'clock, 9:30 to like 12:30 or 1 window, I struggle. Almost every tournament, I've struggled. I catch them early. I catch them about like 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30, I'll catch them. But like getting to 10 to like 1, I always struggle. So for me in the off season, that's one of my big things I got to work on. Where are these fish at? Because that's when Chun, shout out to Chun, because he's the one that just won the other one. Chun will catch a giant at 10:30 or 11:30, and I'm paddling somewhere, and he's jacking them, and I'm moving down, and he's moving up. Even the tournament you did, you catch them, I'm moving down, steadily moving up. People are catching them in that window, and I, for some reason, struggle during that window. So that's something I got to work on for myself. If I can figure that out, I think I'll be good. And I'm not an early morning bite person either. People that go down the bank throwing a buzz bait and catch them early, I'm not an early morning catcher either. I very rarely get that early morning deal. So yeah, just little things like that. If I can figure it out, I think just as I progress as an angler, because it's not like you can in the bass boat, I'll run real quick to somewhere where I know they're blowing on top water. In the kayak, I gotta get there. When I get there, who knows who might already be there, whatever the case may be. And I'm just, that's just not my deal. So I got to figure that out.
100% agree. I struggle with that early morning bite, and if I ever get a good early morning bite, I feel like there's some kind of like witchcraft going on that this might be, or it's just going to be my day, because I usually really struggle getting on that thing hot and early. But dude, you tied with the Chatterbait Ninja Chun, 81.5 inches on Lake Anna. Again, you finish up a fantastic season with them, and then you get to go to Smith Mountain Lake, and you almost did some crazy stuff there too, dude. Like, I mean, solid. You were really solid,
dude. That was a good one. I was excited for that. I love Smith Mountain Lake. I fished that out of my boat as a boater from the Big Bass Tour. I did that for like 3 years, so I fished for like 24 straight hours on Smith Mountain. Like I put in a lot of time at Smith Mountain, in my opinion, mostly in the spring, a little bit in the fall as well. And with the Virginia Bass Nation, huge shouts out to Sean and those guys that run the Virginia Bass Nation. Man, I actually absolutely love fishing with them as well. As much as I love fishing with NVKBA, Mike, Joel, you all. I mean, I absolutely love both the clubs. It's such a fun time and a great thing to be a part of. Those organizations to be a part of. But I had already did well in the Chickahominy Lake one with the Virginia Bass Nation. I had a 5th place in that, and I was like, I was feeling pretty good about that, because I had never been to Chick Lake either. So I was like, that was a wing it, show up day of and try to figure it out. So I was able to figure it out and do good on Chick Lake. I did decent in the Shenandoah one with them. Then we had the joint one. I think I did decent in the joint one. I can't remember what that was. But then to go to Smith Mountain, I was excited to go to Smith Mountain. I have some baits that I know that work really well at Smith Mountain. And I practiced. I got a chance to get down there and practice with them. And they were following them. And I was feeling pretty good. I was getting an idea. I was a little concerned that where I was practicing at, I saw nobody, though. Normally, when that place is on, it's a few people in there, right? Because that's a place where giants live, where I was fishing, and I know giants live there. I ran into a little trouble with my plan for Smith Mountain, because there's a place I normally fish every year. I've gone there. I've got a check. I've got a 4-pounder. I caught my personal best at Smith Mountain. Like, I know where there's some giants at Smith Mountain, but I couldn't get there in the kayak. I could not actually get there, and there was no ramp that was close enough that was public that I could get there. So I had to go with an alternate plan, and that's where I ended up going, where the other place, where I know there's giants all over Smith Mountain. So I was like, let me try this other place. Found some fish, got the bite working the way. I definitely was using live scope. It is what I couldn't. They weren't up on the bank. The fish I was fishing for where I was at, they were not on. I caught 2 really shallow, but they were not on the bank. Everything 8 to 10. 12 to 15, 15 to 25. I had to get out there and go to work and try to stay still and make very precise casts, submerged stumps, brush piles. I was fishing all that stuff. And the crazy part is, I've never caught a fish off a submerged brush pile in my life. So that's what I was doing though out there. I've never done that. I don't fish brush piles in 40 feet of water. That's not something I do. That's not even a technique that's in my wheelhouse at all. And scope, I mean, at least it showed me that there was a brush pile out there, but that's not something I do. And those fish were so finicky. I was telling somebody, when I cast my bait, when it hit the surface, you could see those fish in 25 feet of water react.
Yeah.
Instantly, they would come running up to it and see what it was. And they would bring all their homies. And they would just inspect my bait. They would give it a hug. They would high five it. They would tell it. They were telling it dad jokes. Like it was crazy. Like but they would not get it, and that was tough. But I did figure out how to get them to get it. I had to make a little tweak with my bait. I would add, like, I was throwing a jerk bait, right? So I would throw a feather on it. I would take the feather off. I changed jerk bait colors 12 times. 12 times. I know I got one that works, and that's the one they were following a lot of, but when they didn't bite it, I had to make an adjustment. So I would throw another one, and I'm telling you, man, it was a lot of fun fishing that place. I'm glad I did well. I ended up with a sixth place there. I ended up sixth place AOI for that trail. I ended up sixth place AOI for NVKBA, second place rookie of the year. For me, my season recap, I have nothing to regret, other than just wishing I'd practiced on Shenandoah beforehand, because it played such a big part in the trail. I would just wish I had did a little bit. And then, of course, the Potomac, I immediately blocked out of my brain, because that should never happen. It should never happen. That will never happen again. Well, let me not say that, because I'll go back and zero next time. That should not happen. I just need to go fishing on the Potomac, because what I found out, I fished a tournament out there the following week with a buddy, and we ended up taking like third place. And the crazy part is the fish were aggressive, frog eating, fun fishing fish, were like less than a football field away from where I was at. I just had to get there, and I couldn't get there. I was fighting the wind and the grass too much. All I had to do was just keep going, and I'd have been just fine. But I stuck around in my little area that wasn't producing, kept getting hung up, and just, yeah, that's on me. That's the Potomac reminding you that it's the Potomac, and you better come out here correct if you want to catch some fish out here. Don't be out here half stepping. You got to come. So next time I just will.
What were your biggest lessons you could tell somebody about kayak fishing that differed from boats? Was there any learning curves when it came to fishing out of a kayak?
Obviously for me, the type of kayak you're in, just making that change from I've ran 3 kayaks in my life, and the one I'm in now, my old town, I just feel so comfortable in it, standing up, fishing, things like that. So for me, the right equipment, right, like what you're on the water with, especially with the bigger water, like Smith Mountain, like Lake Anna, where there's boats racing everywhere you turn around. You gotta not so much on Smith Mountain. They actually kind of be chilling out there, at least where I was at. Lake Anna, they like to go fast as they can. The jet skis like to come sit right beside you in the kayak and try to make sure that you flip over pretty solidly. I don't like that. But the equipment that you have, 1, 2, is just being thorough. For me in a kayak, the level that you need to be thorough, because of having to work with what's in front of you, and you can't run 40 miles the other way. I think that's the biggest thing for me. And once I settled in on that, just finding something I can do that I'm comfortable with, lock that in my hand, and just go to work. That's been the biggest key for me. I've met a lot of really cool people out there this year. Some people that watch my stuff on YouTube and things like that, or that just see, posting and things like that. Met a lot of them, and I do get quite a few questions, and just like, what's this and this and this. And for me, again, I think I told you in this interview, it's most of the time I've done well. I'm just in a set spot. I just run through that. On Smith Mountain Lake, I fished the same stretch for 6 hours. That's all I do. I don't even motor anywhere. I have a motor. I run a Newport NK180. I can run all over the lake if I want to. I've pedaled all over, but whenever I do well, because the fish, the stuff I fish, they're always coming back to it. It's like one leaves, it's a good spot. So another one's coming, or he's going to come right beside it, or he's going to come 10 yards away from it. They're just going to keep coming back to it. So I just got to keep being, even the marina I fished for the last 4 hours at Smith Mountain, I stayed in the same area. And it's funny, as I kept going around, I kept seeing different things. I would start to notice that the fish were positioning here, and I could literally watch the fish movements during the day. They were set up heavy on one piece. Give it an hour, they all moved off that one piece, and they would be on the next piece of cover. Give it another hour, they would all be on the other side. Move around, they would all be just a little bit far. I was literally watching this happen throughout the day. I could literally see movement. And then as I circled back, they may be circling back. Here we go again. Let's try it again. So I say that's probably the biggest thing. Just being thorough, extremely thorough, with what you have in front of you, versus and paying attention to the little signs that you see. Like for me, making that treble hook change on my jerk bait was something I don't think I would have done before, but I'm just like, these fish are not responding to this. Let me switch to this. Or jerk bait color. I mentioned this in when we were sitting there chatting. I mentioned it to but I'm like, based on how the sun and the wind and what was going on, I had to change. I changed worm colors on my drop shot every like 10 to 15 minutes. It was crazy to me because they would bite the mess out of one, and then they would just, I'd still see them, but they wouldn't touch it. So I switched. Then bam, I get another bite. Then I had to switch back because they stopped touching that one. So I switched back. It was it man, it may now some of that might just be me. Some people probably would just keep the same bait in their hand, just throw the green pumpkin or black and blue, whatever it is, they just throw it nonstop and fish bite it or they don't. Just for me, it made more sense for me to keep making adjustments. So
Dude, phenomenal season. Absolutely great. What do you have coming up next year?
next year, I'm trying to take flight. Next year we're going to try to keep we're going to keep pushing trail wise what I fish. I had planned on this year fishing the Bassmaster Kayak Series and traveling all over the U.S. to fish the Bassmaster Kayak. That was my plan for this year. But every time the tournament got close, I even paid to fish to go fish in Florida. I'd already set that up. I had a place to stay. A buddy was gonna let me stay with him down in Florida. I had mapped out my launch maps, where I was going. I had all that stuff planned for Florida, and life just keeps smacking you upside the head. So something happened, and then I just was like, I'm not gonna try to push it. I feel like when it's time for me to do those, it'll work out to where I can do it, and it's not where I feel like I'm forcing the issue to get down there. I'm just going to be able to go get the proper practice time, put in the time, and try my best to be successful. So I 100% intend to, if the schedule allows and I can go, and I feel like things are still going well everywhere else, fish the Bassmaster Kayak Trail, the National Trail, NVKBA, Virginia Bass Nation, and I also plan on fishing the Toyota Series and plan on fishing a few BFLs. So jumping in the back of someone's boat again. It is what it is. I like it. I mean, I like it. I like the challenge. I think personally that helped me be a better angler that I am right now, because it forces you to figure something out in the space that you have, because you cannot, you can't zero if you want to do well. You got to figure something out. So when I get in the kayak, I'm used to just challenging and adapting. And that's my big thing for all tournament fishing, just adapting. I feel like that's a key. So I do plan on being in the back of someone's boat, co-angling, and trying to fish as many things as I can, taking that Old Town all across, and then continuing to work with some companies and possibly find some new companies to work with, things like that. But just to see. I mean, I think this year I had a first, a second, a third, a fifth, a sixth, a ninth. Clearly I'm home. This is where I'm at, man. This is what I like doing. I like this type of fishing. I can do well and I can learn, and I love it. I love it, man. I love doing the kayak fishing.
If people want to follow you on all of your exploits, where can they follow you?
Everything of mine, TikTok, Instagram, X, YouTube, Facebook, everything of mine is all at Bass and Furious. You'll see my tournament vlogs as much. This year, I kind of cut the cameras off a little bit this year because some people can do it. I don't want to have to worry about editing and doing anything. I just want to lock in. I just want to fish. I don't want to get back home and look at the missed hook set. I don't want to do it, man. I just cut the camera off and I just went fishing. But I think I found a way that I can vlog my experience and still have the cameras on, because a lot of people do want to see, and a lot of people do mention to me that they learn from some of the things I'm saying or what I'm doing. So it does help, especially what you do. I don't think you can count how many people watch your videos before, after tournaments, and like the amount of people that are waiting for, because you always drop specific timely videos. You're talking to the guy who invented Smith Mountain Lake this week, and I'm like, oh, go figure. I'm fishing Smith Mountain Lake next week. Let me go take a look and see what's going on here. It's just kind of like you always seem to the different people, the Maryland, the resources thing, like the things you're doing in the community, and you're actually advocating for positive change and trying to, you're leaving a Fishing the DMV Thomas impact on the fishing community for future generation. And not too much, but I'm just saying you're actually leaving an impact on the community, and you're creating a valuable resource of information that can help anglers learn. So, and it's not just about giving up your fishing spots. That's why sometimes I cut the camera off, because I just feel like I'm giving up my fishing spots and people are gonna take my stuff. I got that out of my head. They can, but I just gotta outfish them if they show up. We just gotta fish together and figure it out. So, but yeah, Bass and Furious is all my stuff. You can check it out. I make funny TikTok videos and YouTube videos and about my day and things like that. I am trying to work on a reaction style channel as well. So I am working on that. It may not be fishing related. So let me throw that out there. It might be current events. I might be talking about some Fox Sports 1 and some, that today was some NBA gambling scandals, and I may talk about some fun stuff, but it may be fishing related. I'm unsure, or I may do two, a fishing one and then a reacts one. I am trying to put that together now, but Bass and Furious is everything for me.
And if people want to follow your music career, how do they do that?
My music is Ty Adams Jr. or Ty Keys is what I commonly refer to, Ty Keys. We just started a new band. It's called Noise Box. I'm really excited about that band, but I still play for several other bands. If you live in Virginia, just keep an eye out for the Noise Box band. We got some stuff that we're working on. I wrote a song. I recorded it. It's a fishing song. So stay tuned for that. Cool. It's coming out. It's called I'm Out Fishing, and it's this whole song about getting my rod and reel and going fishing, catching a giant bass type of thing. So I just wrote that. So trying to merge the two, my love for music and for fishing, and put them together and come out with a catchy tune that you can add to your videos and on TikTok and things like that. So I plan on releasing it there where you can put it on your things like that. So I'm trying to put them together. But yeah, Ty Keys is Ty Keys is my name. T Keys was my name, but someone else, a producer for T-Pain, he has the name T Keys, so he reached out to me and asked me not to use T Keys no more because that was his name. So we didn't see eye to eye, so I still use what I want to use. But Ty Keys is my name. It is what it is, man. I was working on my music before, but respectfully to that gentleman, I hope his career is doing well. I hope everything's going good for him. But that's my name, and my name is Ty, and I play the keys, so that's my deal. But yeah, that's it.
Guys, as always, I'm going to link everything in the episode description. Please go follow Ty on his journey, not only in fishing, but also his music career. I think big things are going to be happening next year. If you guys want to, go check me out on Patreon. If it wasn't for you guys, I would be on the street behind a Walmart somewhere since I'm between jobs. It's really because of you guys on Patreon that are helping me pay the mortgage right now. I appreciate it. And we will see you guys next time on Fishing the DMV. Bye. You're listening to Fishing the DMV with your host, Thomas Ahrens. Fishing the DMV is brought to you by Jake's Bait and Tackle, located in Winchester, Virginia.
If that doesn't get you jacked up, I don't know what will.